Hello, studio owners. Chantelle here from Studio Evolution, back for more joy of listening to all the voicemails you've been sending me. What a delight this is. Thank you so much. It's so fun to listen to your questions and to be able to answer them and share how you can have more ease and more joy and more freedom and more growth in your studios. And today we've got a fantastic question from Vanessa, which speaks to all of that, actually, and I can't wait to dive in with you. Here we go.
Hi, Chantelle. This is Bruinsma Crockett from Cutno Dance Center. I run a dance studio that's been in business 27 years, and my question is, how do I do an overhaul? It's time for something new. I want to change my business model into a small boutique studio, and I want to franchise or license Cutno Dance. How do I do it? Plus, I live in a different state than my studio. I moved during COVID to help my mother in New Orleans. How do I do it? How do I do this overhaul? Thank you.
Whoa, Vanessa, this is fun. You're ready. Wow. What I love is that you've been running your studio for 27 years. And what I can feel, like viscerally feel in my body listening to you talk is like there's a whole nother level for you to go to. And what's really bloody cool for me is for many studio owners, after being running their business for 27 years, they're kind of like, I haven't got a lot of energy left in the tank. I'm a bit done. And you're like, oh no, we're just getting started here. So I am like cheering you on and very excited about your proposition. Very excited. How do you do it? How do you completely overhaul your business, transform the offering, and then really step into scale, really step into having licensing, franchising, multiple locations? You know, there's a whole plethora of choice when we kind of start exploring those sites. So let's kind of dive in to your question in more detail, because this is bloody fun. So first up, I'm going to address like you live in a different state, you've moved to New Orleans. That for me kind of like is almost not a big deal. I don't think that's a big factor in what we're doing here, because so much of the process I'm going to walk you through right now is very much an internally driven process of architecture and design and understanding your true intentions and vision. This is really vision casting for finding out what this new entity is going to look and feel like and how it's going to operate and how effortlessly we can help this to grow. So living in a other state, not a big deal. So what I'm hearing from you is that you want to overhaul your Cutno Dance into a boutique offering. So kind of high level, smaller offering, very good quality is what I'm imagining, very systemized, proceduralized, because you want to step into licensing and franchising. So this is really fun. I mean, I'm quite curious to know what your business is like right now, but I don't have that information right now. So I'm just going to kind of consider this process of like you have a studio, and I'm wondering whether actually we're going to kind of just, if we could just keep that kind of going over here, what I'd be wanting to do is like, just give yourself a completely new ballpark to dream and to play and consider. When you've been running a business for 27 years, one of the hardest things about doing a big overhaul is resistance to change by people, right? And people can be quite challenged. It can be harder. So for the moment, so we don't have any of the worries or kind of constraints around like, oh, what are people going to think if I do this? Let's just kind of think the studio is over here. And I just want to ask and lead you through a process of kind of starting to elicit and understand what this little thing over here could become and how you'd want it to be without the, oh, we already do it this way. What if we could just start it fresh how you want it? Okay, so let's just kind of give ourselves a complete blank canvas. Cutno Dances as it is, we're playing over here. So the idea is we're starting from a place of you're wanting this to be highly scalable, highly systemized, very dialed in. Because if we're looking at licensing and franchising, the secret to that is systems. It's looking at McDonald's. How can I ensure that anyone could step in and make me a quarter pounder exactly as I would get it down the road, right? So how can I create consistency in the quality of education and the results that I get in my lessons on a highly systemized basis? Bloody cool question to ask, right? And what I love about this as well is that we're looking at not just, you know, how do I flip a burger patty? We're looking at here, how do I get the transformational learning into another person's life, so they have both the passion, the spark, but also the technical technique knowledge that is going to get them where they need to go? How can I design a business model that inherently has retention at the heart? So I'm retaining my students for upwards of 10 to 15 years. How am I designing a business model that is extremely profitable so that I can guarantee that the person coming on, the franchisee, let's just say, can pay the franchise fees. They can also pay themselves a salary, and the business actually can make a profit as well. So how am I looking at the financial model of this and designing it to ensure that all of those three things are kind of met perfectly? These are the other questions. I'm just going to keep asking questions because I think this is kind of the play zone. How can I design a business that attracts team members to want to work for me? And what would it look like to have a wait list of people who want to work for this organization, even above and beyond having a wait list for students? How can I create a culture that people love and feel so enthralled and excited by that they want to take part in it? That's so mesmerizing. It's so, the mission of the business is unique. The mission and the impact that the business makes, it just sells itself and people want to be part of it. How can I create a business that attracts students with minimal marketing? What do I need to be creating in the experience so that I've got very, very strong word of mouth strategy, that I've got a high referral strategy? What am I looking to do to create, very effective marketing campaigns that are just quite dialed in? And these are the questions that we start to ask. And the questions around, okay, if my vision is to have this highly systemized, highly dialed in, what's the heart behind it as well? Because that's what really makes businesses take off in terms of licensing and franchising. There has to be something that we're really meeting a need that isn't met in the business already. And that's what I'm kind of curious about for you. When we have members come to work with me and my team in Studio Evolution, we get studios who are anything from kind of just like wanting to really kind of take that kind of local neighborhood studio and just make it beautiful, we have studios come in who want to take on a global presence and everything in between. And I love that. And the first thing that we do for every single one is actually understand what is the transformation that your studio creates. What is the impact that we are here to do? Because you and I know for sure that your business is not just here to teach turnout. It's not just here to teach how to do a good arpeggio. It's not just here to kind of, introduction to watercolors or, start a yoga class. What you and I, what makes our businesses really special is that there's something behind it. There's like a secret sauce that you're really giving to your students. And the more we can understand that, the more we can understand your secret sauce and then systemize the hell out of it, that's the recipe for good business. That's the stuff that they can't poach. That's the stuff that your competition can't reach. And the more time we spend understanding, I want to take my students, when a student walks through my door, they are this person. And I know when they're coming in, yes, they're coming for weekly classes, but the holistic education of like who they are capable of becoming and how I'm leading them to kind of open more doors and show them more opportunities and have them more connected and more empowered is actually the product. So Vanessa, what I would want to be exploring with you first, because it's the first thing that in the very first class I run in Studio Evolution, beginning of the 2-year journey, is on this. It's understanding what is your secret sauce. And I've got a whole process for exploring this with you, is to find that. If I can bottle your secret sauce, then I can put it into mass manufacturing, right? Then it's just kind of like how to systemize that so it's so effective and infiltrate that into your marketing. We bring that into your team, into your job descriptions when you're hiring, even into our team training and mentoring. We're going to bring this into your retention strategy. We're going to bring this into your team trainings. We're going to bring this into every element of your business. And that's kind of where we start. We don't start with, okay, I want to have X amount of students. We start from the heart out. And that's probably what makes, I think, my program really beautiful and so enriching and so nourishing, because we're kind of, if we're going to make a real impact in this world, and I believe that every one of us who runs a business, we're here to transform humanity in some way or another. Like, we're not selling toilet brushes, my friends. We are selling something so, so beautiful that makes a difference in the level of compassion and empathy and creativity and innovation and sense of community in our world. And that's why I love studio business. It is because our studios are the second homes that our students get to go to, and that's precious. In an increasingly divided world, studios are magical. And so if I want to understand what is the heart of what you're trying to do here, and how can I then systemize that to such a degree that as you grow, and my studio had 6 locations, so I had to get really bloody good at this. I had to get really good at understanding at every single location that I had, where was the heart? Where was the consistency? What were the little special touches? If you're wanting to franchise and license, those are the decisions that are going to be really important. And then when we develop this prototype of the studio that is the heart of this offering, where we've got all of the business model elements dialed in, that's when we can start to see everything just kind of clicks. And I'll be really just frank, Vanessa, I think you are just the most perfect candidate to join us in Studio Evolution, because this is what we do. See those binders behind me? By the time you've gone through those, you have your entire business model systemized, curated, intentionally designed with so much heart and so much joy and nourishment and very big intention to grow to the maximum it can that we desire. You're kind of off and running. So I hope that this kind of helps, Vanessa. I want to encourage you to come back to this, savor it, in fact. Savor this beautiful design phase of who could we be? What are we really wanting to give these students? And then we build the bond model around that. Businesses kind of flounder because they haven't yet really grasped what makes them so special. Because there's so many bloody studios that go like, oh, we're fun and friendly classes. They're dime a dozen. It's much harder to articulate and systemize and consistently deliver your magic secret sauce. But once you understand it, no one can take it away from you, and no one will even know it. That's the interesting thing. The work that I teach is actually, we kind of can articulate it, and it becomes so kind of subtle, but so palpable. People come into your studio and go like, gosh, it's magic-y. Like, what are they doing? Like, I've never seen anything like it. It just feels good in there. And you'll be like, yeah, I created it that way. I designed it that way. And people will be like, this is wonderful. And they won't know how. And it's because it's in every micro decision you make. And that's the beauty. And some of you listening to this be like, that sounds like way too much work for me. And I'm like, that's awesome. But there's some of you listening to that are like, that's who I want to be. I want to be a business that is truly operating at that level of mastery, of magic, of understanding that we are here to create seriously like little micro worlds. When they step into my studio, they step into a whole world of care. And I'm here not just to kind of deliver lessons. I want to give people this. And if we can find out what your this is, and then we just sprinkle it everywhere and we bring it as part of everything, watch out, world. Try and stop the growth. Try and stop the growth. So that's where I'm feeling for you, Vanessa. I'm really excited for you. It sounds like there is such magic ahead, and the wisdom you have from running your business already. You know what you've done in the past. You know what not to do. And now you get to be complete in your power of designing a business that is going to work for you in every single way. And I am here watching with bated breath, so excited to cheer you on every step of the way. So enjoy. If you have a voicemail that you'd like to leave me and ask a question about what to do in your studio, gosh, I'd love to receive it. It will be such a joy to be able to help you and to give you some support at this stage. So pop me a voicemail and I can't wait to hear it. Thank you, lovely ones. Have a great day, and I will see you soon.